The galactic fleet arrived without warning. One moment Earth's night sky was calm and familiar. The next, the stars vanished. Massive shapes slid into place above the planet, dark and silent, blocking the light like moving continents. From the ground, people thought the sky itself had broken. Satellites detected the ships first. Then radars. Then every screen on Earth, from military command centers to public billboards, went black for half a second. When the screens came back on, a single image appeared everywhere. A tall alien figure stood in the center of the display. Its armor was sharp and metallic, its eyes glowing with cold confidence. The voice that followed was deep, slow, and carefully translated into every human language at once. "People of Earth," it said, "you are surrounded by the galactic fleet. Your planet now belongs to us. Surrender your world, your weapons, and your authority. Resistance will result in total destruction." The message repeated 3 times. Then the image froze. For 10 long seconds the planet was silent. In the underground command center outside Denver, Commander Mark Ellison leaned back in his chair. He had been expecting fear, shouting, alarms, chaos. Instead, what he heard surprised him. Soft laughter. Not panic. Not screaming. Chuckles. Mark glanced around the room. Officers stared at the main screen, some shaking their heads. A young technician covered his mouth, trying not to laugh too loudly. "Well," Mark said calmly, folding his arms, "that's one way to introduce yourself." Dr. Emily Carter stood beside him, her tablet already filled with fast-moving data. She pushed her glasses up and watched the frozen alien image with clear interest. "They really practiced that speech," she said. "Very dramatic. Strong villain energy." Mark smirked. "They forgot the part where we panic." Above ground, the reaction was even stranger. In cities across the world, people poured into the streets, staring up at the dark shapes in the sky. Some screamed. Some cried. But many pulled out their phones. Within minutes, the alien message was everywhere online. Someone added dramatic music to it. Someone else replaced the alien voice with a cartoon sound. A popular streamer paused the video halfway through and said, "Guys, I think they want us to surrender. Not sure though." Memes appeared faster than emergency alerts. "Surrender or be erased" became a joke caption under photos of empty coffee cups, late buses, and broken printers. One image showed the alien commander pointing at Earth, with text added below, "Sir, they are laughing." In the command center, Mark watched the global feed with raised eyebrows. "Public reaction?" he asked. An officer cleared his throat. "Confused. Nervous. But, mostly joking, sir." Emily smiled faintly. "That's normal." Mark looked at her. "Normal. For humans," she said. "When things are too big to understand, they laugh first. Fear comes later. Or not at all." High above Earth, inside the flagship of the Galactic Fleet, confusion spread. The alien commander, known among his people as Supreme Executor Varl, stood before his advisors. He expected screaming signals, desperate negotiations, maybe even blind attacks. Instead, human communication channels were flooded with laughter, images, and strange symbols. One advisor tilted its head. "Supreme Executor, the species appears to be mocking the ultimatum." Varl's eyes narrowed. "Mocking?" "Yes. They are sharing the broadcast widely. They have altered it. Some versions include music." "Music?" Varl repeated sharply. Another advisor stepped forward. "They have not powered down their defenses. But they are also not responding formally. Their behavior is inconsistent with fear." Varl clenched his clawed hands. "This is denial. A weak species refusing to accept reality." He turned back to the screen where Earth floated below, blue and peaceful. "They laugh because they do not understand the danger," he said. "Once we demonstrate our power, they will break." Back on Earth, Mark Ellison watched the alien ships through a live orbital feed. They were beautiful in a cold way. Perfect lines. Perfect order. Too perfect. "They think we're stupid," he said quietly. Emily nodded. "They think we're scared." Mark glanced at the scrolling messages on a side screen. Someone had edited the alien broadcast so the commander was holding a cardboard sign that read, "Please clap." Mark sighed. "Tell the media teams to slow it down. We don't want to look careless." An officer frowned. "Sir, people are laughing more when we tell them to stay calm." Emily crossed her arms. "Because calm is exactly how we feel." Mark didn't answer right away. He thought about history. Asteroids. Plagues. Wars. Near misses. Humanity had lived under threats before. Big ones. Loud ones. This was just another. Open a channel, Mark finally said. The room stiffened. Sir? Not to them, he clarified. To the public. Within seconds his face appeared on screens around the world. My fellow humans, Mark said evenly. Yes, something big just showed up in orbit. Yes, it made a very dramatic threat. Right now there is no immediate attack. Behind him, Emily gave a small nod. Please stay calm, Mark continued. Emergency systems are active. This is not the end of the world. He paused, then added, and maybe, don't insult them too much online. We still want to be polite. The internet ignored that part completely. Above Earth, Supreme Executor Varl watched the human broadcast. The commander did not shout. He did not beg. He did not threaten. He spoke calmly. Varl felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. Why are they not afraid? He asked. No one answered. The laughter from Earth continued, echoing through data streams and intercepted signals. The galactic fleet had come to terrify a planet. Instead, it had become a joke. And somewhere deep inside the flagship, for the first time, doubt began to form. Inside the galactic fleet, the mood changed from confidence to confusion. Alien analysts gathered in quiet chambers filled with floating screens. Symbols and numbers moved fast as they studied human reactions. They expected emergency signals, mass panic, and desperate military movement. They found none of that. One analyst pointed at a chart. Human emotional response is irregular. Laughter detected during threat phase. Another replied, this indicates instability. A species unable to process danger. The conclusion spread quickly through the fleet. Humans were mentally weak. They also noticed something else. Earth had not fired a single weapon. No missiles. No lasers. No desperate strike. To delay is to fear, Supreme Executor Varl declared. They wait because they are afraid. The analysts agreed. In their experience, strong species attacked first. Weak ones froze. They did not understand humans at all. Deep beneath Earth's surface, far from cameras and social media, Daniel Wright sat alone in a quiet control room. His hands moved calmly across a glass console. His face showed no panic, no fear. Only focus. Daniel was not laughing. He was running simulations. Every alien ship in orbit was mapped in perfect detail. Energy patterns, shield strength, weapon timing, all of it flowed across his screen. The alien fleet was large, powerful, and impressive. But it was predictable. Formation too tight, Daniel muttered. They like order. He adjusted a model. Red warning lines appeared across the alien fleet map. They don't expect adaptation, he said quietly. Across the continent, Laura Bennett walked through a brightly lit emergency center. Her voice was steady as she spoke into her headset. Yes, activate Zone Blue protocols, she said. No, don't use emergency language. Keep it routine. Around her, teams moved with smooth efficiency. Trains were redirected. Shelters were opened. Hospitals adjusted schedules. Food supply routes shifted. To anyone watching from above, it looked boring. Routine. Exactly how Laura wanted it. These are not evacuations, she reminded her staff. These are drills with better timing. A young coordinator hesitated. But there are alien ships in orbit. Laura smiled faintly. Yes. And the plan already accounts for that. She tapped her tablet, pulling up files decades old. Meteor impacts. Solar flares. Artificial moons falling from orbit. Unknown threats. Humanity had imagined the end of the world many times. They had prepared for all of them. Back in orbit, alien sensors scanned Earth constantly. They saw traffic moving, power grids shifting, communication lines growing stronger. But they did not understand what they were seeing. Civilian movement detected, an advisor said. Likely panic response. Varl nodded. They run. What about their military? Another asked. No offensive action, the advisor replied. No energy buildup. Varl smiled. Fear confirmed. On Earth, Mark Ellison listened to reports in silence. Daniel's data streamed in on one screen. Laura's logistics updates filled another. Everything was moving on schedule. Public mood. Mark asked. An officer hesitated. Still joking, sir. Mark sighed. Of course they are. Emily Carter stepped beside him. That's not denial, she said softly. That's control. Mark glanced at her. The aliens won't see it that way. Emily shook her head. They don't know our history. She brought up images from Earth's past. Cities rebuilt after disaster. People smiling during blackouts. Jokes told in shelters. When humans stop laughing, she said, that's when you should worry. High above, alien analysts continued to misread every signal. They saw memes as madness. They saw silence as weakness. They saw preparation as chaos. One analyst spoke hesitantly. Supreme Executor, human networks show increased coordination, not collapse. Varl waved it away. Coordination without attack is meaningless. But their systems? They are inferior, Varl snapped. If they were strong, they would strike. He turned toward the window, staring at Earth. They laugh because they know they will lose, he said. Back underground, Daniel leaned back in his chair. His simulation finished running. Earth, survivable. Alien fleet, vulnerable. He sent a single message to Mark Ellison. Ready when needed. Laura finished her rounds and paused by a window. The sky above was dark, covered by alien shadows. People below walked calmly. Some took photos. Some waved at the sky. Laura allowed herself a small laugh. They really picked the wrong planet, she said. In orbit, the galactic fleet prepared its next move, confident and blind. They believed humans were afraid. They never considered the truth. Humans laughed because they were ready. The warning came without sound. From the surface of the moon, a bright line of light cut through space. It burned for less than a second, striking nothing, passing harmlessly into the dark. The energy release was massive, enough to be felt by sensors across Earth and every satellite in orbit. The galactic fleet had fired. Inside their flagship, Supreme Executor Varl stood tall as the weapon discharged. The blast was carefully measured. Powerful enough to frighten. Controlled enough to avoid damage. A demonstration, Varl said. They will understand now. Alien officers watched their screens closely. They expected panic signals. Emergency launches. Loud, desperate reactions. They waited. Nothing happened. No alarms from Earth. No sudden military movement. No reply at all. Minutes passed. This is impossible, one advisor said. They must be frozen in fear. Varl nodded slowly. They have finally understood. On Earth, the reaction was very different. Daniel Wright watched the energy spike appear on his screen. His system caught it instantly, breaking it down into clean numbers and smooth graphs. Weapon discharge confirmed, he said calmly. Emily Carter leaned over his shoulder. Near the moon. No damage. Daniel nodded. They wanted us to see it. In the command center, Mark Ellison folded his arms. They're showing off. Around him, officers remained calm. No one shouted. No one panicked. They had expected this. Status? Mark asked. Power grid stable, one officer said. Orbital assets safe, another added. Public reaction? Mark asked. Pause. Well, the officer said carefully, someone already made a joke video where the moon dodges. Mark closed his eyes for a moment. Of course they did. Above Earth, alien sensors detected human activity increasing, but not in the way they expected. Instead of weapons charging, data traffic surged. Signals crossed the planet in fast, clean patterns. Human systems are analyzing the weapon, an advisor said. Very quickly. Varl frowned. Analysis is meaningless. They cannot match our technology. Back on Earth, Daniel smiled faintly. They use clean energy, he said. Very clean. Very bright. He tapped the console. A detailed map of the alien weapon system formed on the screen, built from reflections, timing, and signal noise. They didn't hide anything, he added. They didn't think they had to. Emily crossed her arms. Overconfidence. Daniel nodded. The best gift an enemy can give. Elsewhere in the facility, Oliver Hayes leaned back in his chair, watching the same data. He wasn't a general or a scientist. He worked communications. Messages. Tone. How long do we stay quiet? Oliver asked. Mark Ellison looked at him. What do you suggest? Oliver shrugged. Silence makes them comfortable. Comfort makes them sloppy. Emily raised an eyebrow. You want to reply? Just a little, Oliver said. Nothing threatening. Mark studied him. What kind of reply? Oliver smiled. Human. Up in orbit, the galactic fleet waited. The warning shot had been fired. The lesson delivered. Still no response. Prepare a second demonstration, Varl ordered. Before the command could be carried out, an alert sounded. A signal from Earth, an officer said, surprised. Varl straightened. Put it on screen. The message appeared. No weapons. No angry leader. Just a single line of translated text. Nice aim. Try again. For a moment, the bridge was silent. Then confusion rippled through the alien crew. They mock us, one officer said. This is not fear, another added. Varl stared at the message. His jaw tightened. They insult us after witnessing our power? On Earth, Oliver watched the confirmation light blink. Sent, he said simply. Mark exhaled slowly. You realize what you just did? Oliver nodded. Yes, sir. Emily smiled despite herself. That wasn't bravado. No, Daniel said from his station. That was confidence. As the message traveled through alien systems, human networks continued their work. Defense platforms adjusted their angles. Software learned. Simulations updated. The warning shot had given them everything they needed. Weapon frequency. Energy flow. Recharge timing. Daniel's system highlighted weak points in calm green lines. They can fire again in 90 seconds, he said. Same pattern. Mark nodded. Let them. Above Earth, Supreme Executor Varl felt something new. Anger. They do not respect us, he said. An advisor spoke carefully. Supreme Executor, the human response was immediate. Casual. As if the shot was unimpressive. Impossible, Varl snapped. Our weapon could shatter worlds. But it did not, the advisor replied. And they laughed. Varl clenched his fists. Prepare the fleet. We will show them real power. On Earth, Laura Bennett watched the update come in. She nodded once and continued issuing calm instructions. Maintain current movement, she said. No changes. A junior officer looked nervous. They fired near the moon. Laura met his eyes. And missed. She turned back to her tablet. Stick to the plan. High above, the galactic fleet repositioned, their confidence cracking in small, quiet ways. They had expected fear. They had expected silence. They did not expect humor. And they did not understand that the joke was not meant for them. It was for the humans. Because humans only joked like that when they knew exactly what was coming next. The alien fleet began to move. At first it was slow and proud. The ships shifted forward in perfect lines, their engines glowing in clean, bright colors. To the galactic fleet, this advance was final proof of control. Earth had been warned. Now it would submit. From orbit the movement looked beautiful. From Earth it looked expected. Deep inside the defense network, Rachel Moore watched the change in formation appear on her screen. She did not tense. She did not rush. She simply smiled. They're committing, she said quietly. Around her, systems awakened that had waited silently for years. Satellites adjusted position. Platforms powered up. Invisible signals spread across the planet like a quiet breath. Humanity did not fire first. It listened. Alien sensors suddenly began to flicker. What is happening? An alien officer asked. Supreme Executor Varl stepped forward. Explain. Our navigation signals are delayed, the officer replied. Minor interference. Varl dismissed it. Ignore it. Continue. The interference grew. Across the fleet, small timing errors appeared. Ships corrected themselves, but the corrections were never quite perfect. Rachel tapped her console. Phase 1 complete, she said. Daniel Wright's voice came through the channel. They're compensating manually. Rachel nodded. Good. That burns attention. Above Earth, human systems adjusted in real time. Each alien response was measured, copied, and countered. The more the fleet tried to fix itself, the more it revealed. Inside the flagship, confusion spread. Shield harmonics unstable, an officer reported. Communications lagging, another added. Varl's eyes narrowed. They are attacking us. No visible weapons fire detected, the advisor replied. That was the problem. Humanity's weapons did not look like weapons. Rachel watched as alien ships began drifting slightly out of alignment. Nothing dramatic. Nothing explosive. Just wrong. One ship corrected too late and clipped another's shield. A third adjusted its course and broke formation. To the galactic fleet, order was strength. To humans, disorder was opportunity. They're not shooting, one alien officer said. They're interfering. Rachel leaned back in her chair, still smiling. They think weapons have to be loud, she said. Across the network, adaptive systems evolved faster than alien commands could react. Electronic pressure spread through the fleet like a silent storm. Targeting systems began selecting the wrong data. Internal clocks slipped out of sync. The fleet tried to respond as one. It failed. Varl slammed his fist onto the console. Reassert formation. The order went out. Only half the ships responded correctly. Some received the command late. Others received corrupted versions. A few did not receive it at all. From Earth, the scene looked almost gentle. No explosions. No fire. Just alien ships slowly losing their perfect shape. Rachel zoomed in on a drifting cruiser. "That one's nervous," she said softly. Mark Ellison's voice came through. "How long until they understand?" Rachel considered. "A few more seconds." The alien fleet advanced again, faster now, less certain. Engines flared unevenly. Shield patterns flickered. Then the first defensive platform activated. Not with a blast, but with a shift. Space bent slightly around the platform, altering energy paths. Alien sensors struggled to adjust. "What kind of technology is this?" an advisor asked. Varl stared at the data. "Primitive species do not do this." Rachel's smile faded just a little. "They always underestimate curiosity. Human systems learned with every second. They adjusted faster than alien doctrine allowed. Where the fleet relied on command chains, humans relied on adaptation. A single alien ship lost full control and spun away from formation. Then another. Then several more. Panic crept into alien voices. "Our fleet integrity is collapsing," an officer said. Varl's confidence cracked. "They laughed," he whispered. Why did they laugh? Rachel watched the fleet unravel on her screen. She felt no joy. No cruelty. Only relief. Humanity had survived by changing faster than threats could. She spoke calmly into the channel. "Begin containment. No pursuit." Above Earth, the galactic fleet finally slowed. Its advance stalled, no longer confident, no longer proud. Supreme Executor Varl understood at last. The laughter had not been madness. It had not been fear. It had been a signal. A quiet message that said, "We are ready." And now, surrounded by broken formation and silent systems, the galactic fleet knew the truth. They had been warned. They just didn't know how to listen. The retreat began slowly, almost politely. Alien ships pulled back from Earth's orbit one by one. Their engines no longer burned bright with confidence. Signals flowed between them in uneven bursts, filled with questions instead of orders. The galactic fleet broadcast again. This time there was no threat. No demand. Only confusion. "Earth, clarify hostile action parameters," the message said. "State conditions for disengagement." On Earth the response was silence. Not the sharp silence of danger, but the calm kind. The kind that meant the situation was already over. In the command center, Mark Ellison watched the alien fleet move away. His shoulders finally relaxed. Around him, officers leaned back in their chairs. Some smiled. A few quietly clapped. Emily Carter checked her screens one last time. "They're leaving," she said. "No pursuit." Mark nodded. "Good." Daniel Wright closed his simulations and powered systems down to standby. "They won't try again," he said. "Not like this." Laura Bennett confirmed civilian traffic returning to normal. Trains resumed schedules. Shelters closed. Hospitals returned to routine operations. It all felt strangely ordinary. Rachel Moore removed her headset and exhaled slowly. "That's it," she said. "They came. They saw. They left." Mark stood and walked toward the main camera. "Let's end this properly," he said. Within moments, Mark's face appeared on screens across Earth. People stopped scrolling. Cafes turned up the volume. Streets went quiet for a second. "My fellow humans," Mark said in a calm, steady voice. "The situation in orbit is resolved. The alien fleet is retreating. There will be no further action." A wave of relief spread across the planet. Mark paused, then added, "Next time, say hello first." That was it. No speech. No victory cry. The broadcast ended. On the internet, the line exploded. "Say hello first" appeared on shirts within hours. Someone edited it onto a picture of Earth waving. Another turned it into a ringtone. Across cities and towns, people returned to work, school, and dinner plans. News channels replayed the footage while hosts laughed in disbelief. "Did that really just happen?" one asked. "Yeah," another replied. "Guess we survived Tuesday." Children asked their parents if aliens would come back. Parents shrugged. "Maybe. Finish your homework." Above the planet, the galactic fleet moved farther away. Inside the flagship, Supreme Executor Varl stood alone. The great screens no longer showed Earth close and threatening. Now it was distant, small, peaceful. He replayed the human message again. "Next time, say hello first." There was no anger in it, no threat, just certainty. Varl finally understood. They had not been spared out of mercy alone. They had been spared because humans did not need to chase. In the days that followed, stories spread through the wider galaxy. Not dramatic stories of destruction. Quiet ones. A powerful fleet arrived at a small blue planet. The planet laughed. The fleet left. Alien civilizations listened carefully. They analyzed the data. They studied the signals. They replayed the human jokes, trying to understand them. One lesson became clear. Humans did not laugh because they were weak. They laughed because they had already prepared for the worst. And when the message reached distant systems and quiet worlds, it changed behavior. Explorers rerouted their paths. Commanders rewrote their threat protocols. Diplomats practiced greetings instead of ultimatums. A simple rule began to spread, whispered between captains and commanders. If humans are laughing, they said, you are already too late. On Earth, the sky returned to normal. The stars came back. And humanity went on living, still curious, still joking, still ready.